this is just to give you a picture of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with data coming from about 13 different systems, which we now have platforms that aggregate the information across those systems and try to provide us a data product that we can consume from each of those platforms. And I'll come back onto this, but it's the study, the subject, the imaging, the omics, and the sample, plus we're now looking at real-world evidence, so health payer and hospital data, and we're starting to look back into the preclinical space, into the safety data as well, so we can do translational medicine across this. Scale, and as you broaden it, brings a headache. And we tried to do all of this ourselves. And when we started, we were having to help capture the information, help curate the information, help verify the information, and then we could use it. I have a team of 6, right? This was killing us, right? There was no way we could do all of this. So the questions we had were, how do we simplify the way we do our verification? How do we better manage that graph ecosystem? And then, how do we democratize the graph? How do we make it easier for people to take advantage of what we've put together? How do we make it play nicely with the rest of AstraZeneca? We chose to go with corporate memory now at our graph level to manage that ecosystem. And we went there because it's a solid bit of German engineering, to be brutally honest with you. It is well thought through. It eliminated the smorgasbord of things that we were maintaining. We could go to eccenca and get them to, well, they took ownership of packaging it up, managing the security updates, managing the patches, evolving that ecosystem, introducing new capabilities. My engineers can now look at working on the data rather than the infrastructure, and that's what we want to do, it's the data. And finally, the other piece that comes with this is both some really nice import data pipelining capabilities that allow us to now have engineers who came from the SQL world to work with semantic mappings. My BA, she actually does an awful lot of the mappings herself. So the proof is in the pudding of what the corporate memory promised was that they would lower the entry level to be able to work with semantic tools, and that's exactly what they did. And at the other end, it's really smart that the same pipelines that you effectively use to import your data into the graph, you can use to, or the same tool set you can use to export the data back out into the various formats that want to consume. So we're getting it back into the tooling space that the rest of AstraZeneca works with. Now, the use cases that we then see people using this for are doing a number of different things, and these tend to be difficult queries that they weren't able to do previously, or if they did them, it took them a very long time to do it. So there are 3 examples here. One's a landscape review. So we're often trying to understand, how much data do we have across this profile? So it might be the different stages of a cancer and the different types of populations that they generally see, and they want to know, how much data do they have that has a proteomics measurement and has a particular staining type analysis that's been done on it. And the questions they're asking strategic is, should they be investing in purchasing more data of this type to help fill out that the holes in that matrix? These things typically take up to 6 months. We can now do this in minutes. It's just a query. Study design optimization is another use. You're trying to learn from the past as to maybe how many subjects you need to achieve statistical significance in the study so that it's powered correctly, as they refer to it. And so you want to look at legacy patients with a similar profile to the one that you're going to include in your future study and see the variability of the data for the particular lab tests that you might use, and that will help you select the different lab tests that's there. Again, this can take weeks. We can now enable our study designers to do this on the fly using data directly within this tool. They don't even have to submit a request for the subject, the data in many cases. And finally, that cohort selection, that one that I started with, that was weeks again, and now it's down to minutes.